We're worth every breath of a bubble to Dad.
I'll get this one,
yells Dwayne, running to catch Dad's semen in a jar. He puts the semen into a jar to be sent to the scientists to impregnate the remaining women of the world. Dad gets to go places for free sometimes. Today the family gets to stay at the Space Jail Hotel and Resort. Dad is supposed to do a seminar and a speech there to spread hope to the inmates. If you look up, you can see it orbiting.
Vacation to Space Jail.
We are taking this space taxi tube train.
Danny, Dad, Derek,
Dwayne,
Mom and Carson. They said Dad couldn't ride without a spacesuit.
Mom talked with them and they said his dress shirt and board shorts were close enough though. Dad was going to drive, but he didn't feel comfortable.
Dad's got money out the shorts.
The board shorts. Dwayne reads all the ads on the billboards as they pass.
We like it when he does this.
He knows the names of all of the islands too.
The taxi tube train runs straight up the tube all the way to Space Jail. There is one other family in the tube train with us. Dad enjoys this, but remains calm. Dwayne and Carson notice all the nice space out the window. The boys talk about spaceships and Dad frowns. Dad doesn't understand spaceship culture.
Soon, we see the giant looming shape of Space Jail.
Before the flood, people were using human-powered batteries quite a bit. Baby batteries.
Some kids were born into the batteries and they were sold, and they got the idea from the Matrix movies.
A lot of batteries were thrown away when better sources for power were used.
Now the landfills are being unearthed and the baby batteries harvested.
The kids were fine. Ours is called Derek, like direct deposits.
Dad's pants are not too small.
Dad's shirt fits. He looks good.
When they landed, they were greeted by a physically attractive-looking attendant.
Dad only had eyes for Mom, though. Mom's only gaining weight because she's in love.
And everyone was comfortable when Dad looked into Mom's eyes and sang a little bit.
The jail ended up being such a financial burden on the people below without the expected number of prisoners, but the view was amazing.
The resort was added as an afterthought, built right on top of Space Jail.
Due to this, they were escorted past the lot of first-floor prisoners before they got to the elevator. No one yelled a lot, not even Dad. Dad knew his brother was here somewhere. They were escorted up to a great-looking room. Dad quickly sets to drinking. He drinks all the drinks in the room and orders more. Dwayne and Carson turn on the TV to see spaghetti going spaghetti. They are both amused and keep watching.
Derek's hands aren't stupid. They can grab things well.
They aren't like dogs' paws inside rubber gloves.
Dad ate 2 sticks of butter and is feeling nauseous for a minute.
The kids get in swimsuits and they all go down to the entertainment deck. A marathon is going around the whole dome. An old lady split off from the group when she recognized Dad. She couldn't hold it together and cried. I guess she really wanted to meet Dad for a while. Other people started stopping to shake Dad's hand. They asked for his autograph or a photo. Most of them just wanted to show their respect and shake his hand.
The sun is shining. The blinds are shut. Dad is playing video games and isn't bad at them. Dad woke up screaming, trying to breathe. He had fallen asleep on his back again. He had done other things today before falling asleep in his chair.
Dad loves comfy chairs, sitting comfortably so his spleen stays level with his heart. Dad doesn't believe in posture, saying it's like the tooth fairies or cats, and is oppressed the young. Dad says he doesn't even smoke weed anymore. He said the coffin, it must be from the coffin wolf. He just coughing and walking and hunting in the area for bugs.
The kids have never known a life where Dad has had to work a job. He makes all his money from dirty cum donations. Sometimes the kids run to catch them in the jars. "My turn," one would yell. Dad remembers working at a sweaty gas station. Whenever he gets loud and angry, we are supposed to feed Dad bread and potato chips, and it calms him down.
But tonight, Dad is dinner hungry. Jonathan, let's eat some food. Ask Bob if she wants some food. Dad says to be in a not squeaky voice, and he's standing up from his chair easily too.
Mom mostly hangs out in internet chat rooms. If asked, she would say she remains faithful enough. And besides, it's not really cheating if I could send messages to him and he couldn't read them anyways.
Mom is gonna go get her hacker's GED to the internet, and then she's gonna be like a full-blown hacker soon. She is in her room doing hack.
Dad switches the Skype call and calls Danny, who answers with just the voice and no cam. The volume isn't too loud. Danny wonders if he could use a little bit of his college money to see Spaghetti in concert this summer. Dad wonders if he can get enough for both of them to go. "She might have some later," says Carson, coming back into the room carrying a sniveling baby Derek. Derek had obviously been crying for a long time. "He pooped himself into a corner again," says Carson to no one's surprise. "I think Dad wants us to get our own consoles to play games with him," says Carson, his eyes getting wide and full of the same longing he would get any time he sees anything boxed and colorful. Dad has great luck. The lotto is great to this family. Dad gave us almost $1,000 each time he won. Dwayne has a plan to save his and only spend a little each day. Dad speaks well and is good at things.
Dad's city floats on one of 10 huge man-made islands. The world struggles with itself. Everything has melted, the world flooded. The population is very low. Almost no one is capable of having their children anymore. 1 or 2 people from each floating landmass can still reproduce. The water is bad. People only drink pop, juice, or Tang. I need pop, juice, or Tang.
Care systems have been set up to care for the last few people that can make babies. Dad have the respect of everyone, it seems. Dad wanted nothing more than to be a dad.
The inbreeding, as you could imagine, is overwhelming. At this point, Dad is almost everyone's dad. burnt but and dry but oily. Dad's semen is strong. Dad has been around for a long time, since before he can remember.
Dad's Party, Chapter 3.
Dad is drinking with his friends at the house. Dad's really great at parties. And Dad's parties are really great. Dad isn't embarrassing and he can control himself. Sometimes Dad makes us count our macaroni blessings. Usually 30. 30 blessings is a lot to have for one family, and a family and most families have a smaller number of them.
The drinks are good and they taste good. Derek is doing a terrible job at bartending. They all laugh in his face as he tries one of his own cocktails. Derek pukes. Stupid babies. If nobody wipes them up, they will sit with puke on their faces all day. Dad's BFF Talon. How can he not realize everyone is here and everyone can see him? Dwayne and Carson are off put by this and decide to go for a walk. They stop and pick up the neighbor's dog, 80. We call the dog 80 because he lives in house 18. And it's an easy way to remember. 80's family is rarely awake and rarely notice. I don't know why they even have a dog. Like, I don't know why we even have Derek.
Derek went to bed crying and woke up still crying.
The boys walk until they reach the silence, and then they overlook the city and the town, and you could see the house. They stop and pet the dog. The dog doesn't bite them. A handicapped boy comes by and pets the dog as well, and the dog doesn't bite him for a long time. Silly dog! We laugh.
Dad is falling asleep on the lawn and his friends have gone home. He is screaming at the stars. I guess he had run the exhaust from his ship into the house and almost gave him brain damage. His friends dragged him outside and left him on the lawn for some fresh air. He insisted on sleeping there, saying that it wasn't his first time in the wilderness.
Later, they see Mom's car pull back into the driveway. Dad yells for Mom to show us her rock dollars. She's into it and shows. Mom tells us Derek's prognosis is looking good. Dad met Mom the summer he was working at a well-lit and air-conditioned gas station. Dad did not sweat.
Mom fell for him, like head over heels. Mom was from a small town not far from here, and she never seen a little man like Dad before. Mom was great at using websites. And Mom made Dad feel a thing. Dad never forgot. Dad usually don't forget. and they choose what they want to remember and what not they want not to remember.
Something small was awakened in Dad. Something small that would grow out of control. Bulk huge, overwhelming, pushing the rest of him aside. It would make his choices and make his bed. A part of him got lost that day. A part of him he really probably should have kept. But Dad was great in bed, and Mom was satisfied. But now the world is still struggling in poverty. No worries here. Dad lives well. Dad sits in the lap of glory, as comfortable as possible, eating an apple.
The government appreciates his cooperation and contribution to humanity's greater good. The people appreciate his semen too, offering extra little things like the little metal bits, nuts, and spacers and screws and brackets. Dad has nothing to feel bad about, and that he has no reason to feel bad. Dad never really had a problem with control. Chapter 4.
Dad stares at himself deeply in the mirror. Still no remorse. He will not be going to school today either, he decides. Dad has been getting kind of bad marks at school. Dwayne has been bringing him home his homework.
Dad has a mushroom stamp collection. If you hug Dad, he would hug you back 10 times stronger. And Dad, his love is sometimes stronger than his restraint.
When Dad decides it's time for us to learn, we listen carefully so he doesn't think we've gotten distracted. Dad tells us stuff that happened and has a good memory.
Dad's brother, Uncle Dom, has come for a visit. Uncle Dom drove his flying car here, and Uncle Dom parked it in the back. There isn't enough room, and he crushes the neighbor's awning. We kinda thought it was funny. Dad loves this family.
Dad might get Uncle Don to get his haircuts before school.
Dad's hair grows the fastest. Dad's grows the slowest. And
Dad has good thick hair, not balding wig hair.
I wish we would have remembered to get new clothes, Bob. I don't have one.
They wait patiently inside the hover school bus until they pick up good friends Ben and Ian.
Ben and Ian were really good at video games, and Dad even thinks they're kind of pretty cool. But we
quickly hear from Ben and Ian about Ben and Ian's sinister plan to skip school and murder Ben's parents. They were bummed to hear this, but not really too surprised either. They declined to help.
We explained, like, you can't just kill your parents. What the fuck?
They wished upon a streetlight that Ben and Ian wouldn't get caught. Returning from school, Dwayne throws Dad his homework, laughing how everyone knew he wasn't really sick. Dad laughs how he accidentally cut his arms and wrists in the backyard. It looks like he tried to kill himself.
Dad drinks a good drink and settles back into his chair for some online gaming. Uncle Dom had gone out to visit Grandpa in the old float home while we waited for our haircuts. Ben's parents were found dead, both of their thumbs cut off.
When Uncle Dom gets back, he and Dad pass loud words, but quickly change moods when they hear Ben's parents died. In the old days, I guess they had shorted him on an exchange.
They deserve it!
He said at the end of both times he told the story. Everyone sets the cooking. Dad says he can't do much or he will shit. I give him a hard cheddar and a dull knife, he will shit.
Chapter 5. Dad loves pulled pork. We should get some pulled pork, says Dad. The whole family go to a restaurant for a family meal. A man on a fly cycle rides by.
Whoa! Stinky!
The scariest part of Halloween is Dad. Dad is huge and takes up the whole doorway. Nothing stops Dad's Halloween spirit. With Dad in the building, it's even scarier. Dad brings in a huge box of ornaments, all orange and black. This is the meaning of Halloween, says Dad, setting down the box. We go through the box. Dad explains how each of the ornaments are Halloween. The spider is scary because it's big.
The skeleton's scared because it's just bones.
Bones are hard, says Carson matter-of-factly. And finally, candy. Candy is the meaning of Halloween.
Some hover cars go racing past. Dad grumbles about how he hates spaceship culture. Dad tells us about the old folks home shootings. How a lot of old people are moving out. Grandpa might be one of them. Grandpa is quite bitter about this. He's seen a lot of things close over the years. We go to a burger place and Dad makes sexual advances towards a cashier and she's into it. We recognize her from our school.
I want the pork, says Dad.
The pulled pork?
Asks the girl.
Yes, I want you to pull my pork.
The girl went red.
I can get the guys in the back.
No, I want to put a young girl like yourself. What's your name?
It's Albert.
Says Dwayne, popping up onto the counter. Dwayne has been a great wingman. Him and Dad have been getting along quite well lately.
Anything for the kids?
Yes, one order of fries.
Any gravy?
Al? Smother it. Dad blinked with only one eye.
Just one order?
Yes, they can share.
Okay, you can have a seat. I'll bring it out as soon as it's ready.
She says, handing Dad a number. This table is a tad dirty. Let's find another, he says. We eat and feel full after. We will go trick-or-treating on Halloween. Dad gets a call to remind him that he's late for his dirty cum donations.
We getting paid tonight.
Getting down on one knee to look Dwayne in the eye, Dad tells him to take the boys home. It's not far across town and they have money for the bus. Start in your costumes, boys, says Dad. We will do some early trick-or-treating. Dad drives to the clinic and parks between the lines and a parking spot. Dad's semen wasn't very good this time. Not much quantity, which is absurd if you ever look at his clothes or the couch. Dad's semen's a lot at home. When he returns from the clinic, he has a few people buried up to their necks.
He also picked up the stove from a kind marathon runner.
Hover dollying it up the front walk, Mum comes out. She opens the front door and notices the racks are pushed together tight so they don't rattle while moving.
Can you hang a fish in there?
Says Mom and storms off, not listening to Dad.
Derek has been screaming at his arm this whole time. Dad is the type of person who owes far more money for his house than what it's worth.
The boys never went trick-or-treating that year because everyone was a pedophile and nobody was allowed to trick-or-treat and give out candy.
Chapter 6. Danny and Grandpa Clark.
A lot of snow is everywhere. Dad loves us almost as much as this house.
Says Dad. We can say nothing through silent admiration.
The clown car was a sick ride, that's for sure. A serious shuttle. 4 wheels on the ground. Dad needs a dress shirt to drive it. He turns back down the hallway to get Mom's help with his shirt buttons.
She counted them out loud to him as she started to button them for him. Dad hits her hands into her face. Not doing that witchcraft on me!
Dad's car, Dad's rules. It's hard for him to not fall off the road, so we have to be quiet. Dad makes rules to keep us safe. Rules are important. Dad knows how to keep us safe.
Just pick me up, Danny. But Danny, it's okay.
But first, we need sandwiches from Tony Woodwork. We stopped for gas at a sweaty gas station.
We saw Loose Leaf at the gas station with his son.
Scissors? What kind of name is that? Laughed Dad.
No wonder Loose Leaf hates Dad.
Not much was said on the way to pick up Danny.
Dad got a call from the old people's home where Grandpa lives, saying they were sending all the all the old people home since they got so high on marijuana and they just went in there shooting. Dad hates having to do things.
Dad goes through the gears of anger a couple of times, roaring louder and louder, cutting off as if he's an engine, moving from gear to screaming gear. We pick up Grandpa up. We carry his stuff out and it fits in the car, no problem. Grandpa doesn't want to be shot in an old folks' home. He remembers the days when it was school shootings. He likes school shootings better. He would rather have been shot back in those days. With the amount of time you put into your job back then, you might as well have been dead in those days, laughs Dad. Grandpa has little to show for his struggles.
Grandpa doesn't regret anything. He did what he had to do. He saw what he had to saw. He was mostly just following orders. Dad confides in us about how he ages, how it's not year by year like us, how it's all over the place. He's been around a long time and has heard a lot of things.
Like about a place in the sea, under the water where a plant grows. The plant could be eaten and he could age normally. I guess he has been in limbo for a long time. We suspect the age fluctuations are taking a severe toll on his mind.
Chapter 7.
Dad loves the smell he makes in his chair. He laughs and asks who's gonna come to the bumper mall with him. Everyone wants to except Danny. He asks us to put some eye drops in Derek's eyes because they're frickin' red. When we get there, people recognize Dad and ask to take pictures with him. They ask if he'll be in the Santa parade. He says yes. We hop in a bumper car and hit a lady so hard her head bounces around. We hit a lot of people in the bumper car. They had to tell us to stop. But we said it's okay. We spend a little at some stores some of the time. Dad notices us after a while and beckons us over, saying, "Boys, I think I'm pregnant. I can feel the baby kicking. Come feel." They pat and prod around until Carson finally shakes, "Dad, that's not a baby! That's a boner!" We all look around as we hear a knock on the glass behind us. We see Derek pop up for a tiny second, giving us all the finger before ducking away, laughing. Chapter 8. The music playing wasn't too loud. The snow was everywhere. The water was frozen. The town gathered around a large pole with a light in the middle. They have a bunch of little poles to carry around too. It's dark and cold, but everyone is dressed warm. It is New Year's. New Year's isn't boring or played out. Everyone laughs and dances and has a great time. Nobody dances like Dad. Many people are very happy and clap for him. He says he used to go to the Wrinkle at the Ridge. Back at the house, Danny explains to his friends how he learned to blow smoke through a paper towel roll, and it doesn't even smell anymore, and they can smoke inside the house. He learned it from Dad. They only have full rolls and have to throw out a bunch of paper towel, though. Danny is having a great time and being funny, too. His friends are all impressed. Heather is looking great. Danny is only using good drugs. His nose doesn't bleed. The acts start and the family settles into a table facing the stage and the big pole. The night goes on and Dad is asked for his traditional speech. Don't poop where you pee. Dad talks clearly and passionately. No one is bored. The words he say have meaning in people's lives. But Mom has heard it all before. Mom knows it all so well. Mom knows Dad's ways. Mom knows what Dad is capable of. Mom's lived long enough to know where this is going. Not just the speech, but her life. Mom has heard it all before. She knows there is more. Mom has been planning this escape for a long time. Since before a time in a sweaty gas station. Now with the money in her account, she boards her spaceship and leaves. Dad noticed Mom wasn't in the audience at first, but the applause quickly drowned out any thought. Carson and Dwayne hear of a sock-op at Wrinkle Ridge tonight. Legendary. They couldn't find Mom to ask for a ride, and Heather said she was busy getting drunk with Danny. So Carson and Dwayne decided to walk. At a store like halfway to the ridge, a child was screaming. The mom pretended not to hear him. The kid was yelling, "But Mom, I love you!" as she left with the Salvation Army. Sounds like Derek, laughs Carson. Dwayne records farts on his phone and plays them back for Carson. Carson laughs. Cold, but excited by the text saying how much fun the sock hop was, they walked the rest of the way at a brisk pace. When they got to the building, they quickly realized they had been tricked. There was no sock hop. They could clearly hear laughing coming from Pickle Point across the river. Dwayne gets a text from Ian saying not to feel bad about being tricked. It happens to a few kids each year. Dwayne gets another text saying that an anti-New Year's is being held on the old part of the bridge that never got knocked down. This pleases Carson. He has never been to the old part of the bridge. He had heard a kid hung himself out there before.
Chapter 9.
The water is all frozen. We could have walked if we wanted to, but it's getting really cold. Dwayne calls Mom and she doesn't answer. Dwayne calls Heather again and she answers, saying for sure she'll give them a ride. She gets there in 2 minutes and picks them up. They can tell she had been crying. She says she's going to come to the show too. As they get close to the old bridge island in the middle of the river, they see a huge group of people on the bridge piece. And the wind was picking up, snow was falling, but someone had put up a force field to keep the weather out. John 1000 and Machine Man were playing.
The fuck is Machine Man?
A 100 years pass. Dad grew his hair and beard, amassed a following again.
He lives in a castle made of stone and cars.
But even his followers grew old and died. Dad is the only one left. Dad has been down since day one. But this is past those days. Dad's family, once strong, lay as skeletons in the waste behind him. Dad is the only one left that he remembers.